Hello and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Alvin Edwards, Community Engagement Coordinator for Southeast Seattle. For this community conversation, we'll be talking with ACE Academy. With that said, I'd like to welcome CJ Dancer and Willie Sills, founder of ACE Academy. Welcome, good sirs. How you guys feeling?
Hey, all is good.
All is good. All is good. So let's talk ACE. So I'm familiar with the program because my son is in the program, and I think you guys are doing great work. But for those who may not be familiar, what is ACE Academy?
Oh, ACE Academy. ACE is the Academy for Creating Excellence. And we started in 2012, and it was just initially an idea. And we is myself, Willie Fields, CJ Dancer, and Marcus Harden, all from different parts of Seattle, grew up in the Seattle area, also products of Seattle Public Schools. And what grew out of ACE was basically a frustration with how young black men, black boys was treated inside the classroom and outside the classroom. And it was like, man, what is needed? And what we felt was needed, all of us being educators in different spaces, what we felt was needed is some sort of leadership development organization and or program. And with that thought, started at just doing small group work with Goodwill, located near the Central District. And then from that, we had opportunities to apply for grants with the City of Seattle Department of Education and Early Learning to start a summer program at South Shore K-8. And so which we've grown is now 2021. We've grown from just a small organization of 3 people, 3 founders, to a robust team of 13 people developing programs in different areas. So we have what is called our signature programs, school programs that is facilitated at South Shore and at Franklin High School. We have our summer learning experience, which we are working with rising 8th graders, and new summer learning experience where we'll be working with rising 9th graders at Rainier Beach High School. We also have a Black Educators Cafe, providing a safe space for Black educators within Seattle and outside of Seattle to come together, connect, and network. And we also have finally our parent cafe, where this will allow parents such as yourself who have students in the ACE program for them to dialogue, network, and connect and build. So that's ACE, creating excellence all over the place.
Nice, nice.
No pun intended.
I hear it. Well, that's pretty cool. I was actually, you mentioned the parent cafe. I was actually able to take part in the one in June, and I thought that was cool. At first, I was kind of like taken back because I was like, are they going to talk about like the kids? Are they going to, talk about like, what they're doing next? But, it was actually surprising to me because it provided a space for the parents to kind of unwind and talk about like health and wellness. And you guys were, talking about current events and things like that. I think that is, pretty cool because, a lot of times maybe some of these, single parents and things like that, they may not get a chance to talk and get to, to express themselves in that capacity. But for you guys, so I guess my question is, what made you want to integrate the parents into that curriculum, into like doing the parent cafes?
Yeah, I think you said it. We started to so really we got into this to work with the young men, right? How can we support them? Mm-hmm. And the more we got into the work, the more we realized, okay, Black educators or educators in general have contact with these young men. So we also provide professional development for educators. But then we saw, okay, the Black educators have a need as well. Plus the young men are screaming, we don't see anyone that looks like us in the classroom, right? And then we started talking with parents. And what we started to realize was there's a lot of assumptions when it comes to parenting. I'm a parent myself. Willie's a parent himself. Several of the staff, we joke all the time. There's a bunch of kids in ACE that are children of ACE employees. But what we assume is parents know what they're doing. And a lot of times we just figuring this thing out too.
Right.
And
Right.
so, how do we use this term, a holistic approach. We use it in the work all the time, right? But what does that really mean if you're not really supporting those different pieces that have contact with the youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we started to build with the parents, it was more about not the traditional get the parents together and then talk about their kids,
Right.
right? It's get the parents together, talk about what are your needs. Because if we can strengthen you, there's going to be a positive impact on the young people's lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really, that strengthen you means everything it means. It's do you need help with employment? Do you need help getting back in education? You just need a space to talk and get away from your kids and be around other people like that. Like, what does that mean? And then are there tools that lessons learned from other parents? It's like, look, my son won't come out of his room. He just sits on his computer all day or his video games all day. What do you guys do? And it's that kind of space for us as humans, because we're humans too, right?
Right.
To just get together and talk, and share ideas. And I love my kids. We all love our kids, but misery loves company. So sometimes if we can just get together with other people who are going through what we're going through, and have those conversations, you then realize, oh, you're not going crazy because we're
Mm-hmm.
all dealing with this, right? Or you're not necessarily doing anything wrong because we're all going through what the teenage years look like, right?
Right.
So we had the experience on the other side. We were once teenagers, so we had that perspective. Now we're on our parent side, and we're looking at these young men like, "What's wrong with you? Why you keep doing this? Why you keep doing that?" And you sometimes reflect on yourself, like, "Am I a bad parent? Is this young man, did I do things wrong? So now this young man is gonna, you know, go do something crazy in the world and not be the best person he can be." And sometimes you just need to get with other people who are having similar experience and say, okay, maybe I'm not making a mistake. Maybe I am doing the right thing. And it's just this current generation, this is just how they move. So really, it was thinking about all of those pieces when we pulled together the Parent Cafe. Ultimately, and for us, everything still swings back to the young men, right? So if we can build home and if we can build school, because those are the two places that
Mm-hmm.
young men are, if we can help build those and strengthen those foundations, then our belief is it's going to better support the young men. Because there's only so much I mean, if I got, your young man was in the program one Saturday a week for a few hours, right? There's only so much we can really do. And
Right.
if that's the only space to which, there's this kind of positive conversation and this kind of positive movement. And then for the other 6 days, 24 hours each of those days, they're in the other stuff and there's nothing happening that's changing or beneficial to them, then it's an uphill battle constantly. It's almost every Saturday we're restarting, right? So that was the thought process behind it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you mentioned the teen years, and I could think about, like what I was like growing up as a teen, and
Mm-hmm.
trying to be cool, trying to fit in, and all that stuff. What is a successful member of ACE? Being a teenager, being in middle school, what does a successful member look like? What should students get out of it?
I don't know. That's a ever evolving question, right? And I think what we look for and what a young person who participates in ACE is just continual growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see flashes of those growth at whatever level of participation that they are in our program. So, and I did forget to mention our Saturday program that was for high school students, but growth looks different at every facet. So if we give an example of our summer learning experience, our summer learning experience is only 4 weeks. And so that's 4 weeks for these young men to get exposed to as much resources as they much possibly can. And so the
Mm-hmm.
first resource that they're getting connected to is them seeing 10 black male teachers within a 4 week period, right? Because they don't see any other black male teachers within their school period during the school year. I think the other the level of growth during the summer learning experience is that is that they are learning from each other, right? And so those foundations where we look at when we're talking about growth and success is what is called our FAME model. So it's family, academics, motivation, and environment. And what we want them to get out of the family piece is, um, they are their brother's keeper. They are looking out for each other. They're not only looking out for themselves, that they are connecting with each other. With the academics piece, the growth there and the success that looks like there is that they are learning from all over the place, not just in the traditional school sense as the academics, oh, they need to get straight A's. No, but they're learning from their peers. They're learning from their teachers. They're learning from their parents. They're learning from their community, and that they're being able to grow from there. The motivation piece is looking at the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, like what drives them. We know extrinsically what drives them is probably what they see on social media, right? What they see on TikTok, what they see on Instagram, and what they see from their peers. Like, man, who has the best drip? Who has the money in their pocket and different things like that. But what intrinsically drives them to be the best person that they can be? And then lastly is environment. It's taking all of those pieces and how are they able to give back to their community. And that looks different for each individual because it's not all the same. We have the big micro piece of fame, but individually for each of those young men is how do they identify their own fame? How are they going to be famous within their own selves? And that's what success looks like for us.
Yeah, and I'll add a couple of things there. It also depends at what grade level, right? So there's different conversations we have in different bars that are set. For example, in the summer program, there's health and wellness, and so they'll start at a particular place, set goals that by the end of the 4 weeks, this is where I want to be, right? If you can only do one push-up, by the end of the 4 weeks, we want to see you knocking out 40 or something, right? Then we have a pre-assessment test on your math skills. So where you at mathematically? And so if you're at pre-algebra, how do we strengthen your foundation so you're confident going into algebra, for example, right? So it also varies on the actual program that we're implementing. But the big piece for us is this manhood conversation that we have, right? And it's and that to me is not about us saying we've decided what a man is. It's having the conversation with the young men. So by the time they walk away, they define it for themselves, right? So they have a personal understanding of what it means to be a man, and then some tools to start building in that direction, right? So for us, I mean that to me is super successful, right? If you get a 13, 14, 15-year-old young man to start thinking about his impact and what he wants to be as a man, like what does that mean? And how do you start to reach that goal, right? And what we've seen is that then the young men then go home and start to initiate conversations in the house. And start to change how they. Now, again, this is not, miracle overnight stuff, right? We are talking about young people. So for some young men, it clicks right away. For some young men, they'll come back a couple years later and be like, I remember what you said. Now I get it, kind of thing.
Nice. So I'm in community outreach and engagement, and I'm always looking at different ways to connect different groups and things like that, and how community can get involved with programs. How can the community get involved with ACE? Like, for instance, if I wanted to volunteer, how could I get involved?
Well, I think that's just they can contact us via our website. That's www.aceacademywa.org or via our Instagram. But what we look for all the time is to try to bring the experiences to the young men, to the young people in our program, right? So if for example, this summer, a few of our teens are going to be building rockets or building drones. So if there is an adult that has experience in that area, or is or is an architect with drones or rockets or anything like that, man, would love to have you come in and be a guest speaker for any one of our pieces. And I think goes back to what CJ was saying about the manhood piece is whatever experience is going to give the young people the best experience as possible. So it's again about resources and connection and different things like that. We do have our school programs and our Saturday programs, but the best way is just contact us. And there's a myriad of different ways to to help you get involved.
Good, nice. Well, is there anything else you guys got for me? Anything else you guys want to say to the people?
No, well, just thank you for this conversation. That's first off. Second, Malachi, man, I love that. I met him a couple of years ago while I was teaching with Mr. Jeremy in our ACE class. He has a lot of great ideas. Very smart young man. So thank you for trusting us for him to be in our program. And Joe, just let folks know we do have spots available for our Rising 9th grade program. That is going to be at Rainier Beach. And I believe we do have a few spots for our middle school program as well, which is going to be held at South Shore. So if you have a young man that is either going to be in 8th grade and or 9th grade this upcoming summer, we do have a few small spots that are going to be located at those locations, and they can get in contact with us again via our website or myself directly. I believe you can be able to provide that information for them.
All right, sounds good. Well, that's it for our episode of Community Conversations. I'd like to thank our guests from ACE Academy, CJ Dancer and Willie Seals III. So see you next time.